Welcome to the Rebirthing Breathwork Summit, a free online event where you'll learn to integrate the power of conscious energy breathing to transform your mind, body, and spirit. Share this online event with your friends and family and join the conversation inside our Facebook group, Rebirthing Breathwork Summit. And now your host, Devendra Narayan.
Welcome everyone to our next session in the Global Rebirthing Breathwork Summit. This session is called How TransBreath Helps with Trauma Recovery, Clears Out Stagnant Energies, and Elevates Frequency. And our guest speaker is Julie King. Born in Kazakhstan and raised in US, Julie has been introduced to breathwork from the age of 16. She is the second generation of conscious breathers and is an expert in Tao of breath, clarity breathwork, holotropic breathwork, and is an Usai and Karuna master teacher, sound healer, aromatherapist, life coach, a hypnotherapist, and has an MFA in opera performance from California Institute of Arts. Julie is a professional musician and Grammy-nominated vocalist for A Single Forgiveness. Julie has taught breathwork in Bali, Thailand, Turkey, Mexico, and the US. Welcome, Julie.
Thank you so much, Devendra, for having me here today. It's a great honor to be sharing TransBreath and its magical modality of conscious breathwork.
So happy to have you on the summit, Julie. So from Grammy-nominated artist to breathworker, how did this happen? Would you like to share your story with our global audience?
Sure. Actually, as I was selected for Grammy nominations for Best Vocal Performance and production of vocal performance from the Grammy Academy, became automatically a professional member. And once I became a professional member, a colleague of mine contacted me and asked me to come into Singularity University to basically hold research on cognitive neurological brainwave activity, cognitive behavior of a listener, and how the vocal improvisation versus lyrical song story impacts the behavior pattern of the human, of the listener. And at the time I had about 10 subjects and everybody was wearing the EEG, and it was such an incredible experience because I was also wearing one, and watching the screen and what happens to my listeners when they were listening to my Single Forgiveness. You can also check that out on YouTube. My stage name is Juliana. That's Yulianna. And Forgiveness was dedicated to my father. And the message behind it is forgiving someone, for someone being part of your life so much and being part of you, and in this instance it was my father, and what was keeping me apart from him in this relationship that needed a lot of healing was forgiveness. And one of the things that you mentioned about TransBreath and working with trauma and how TransBreath helps releasing trauma, watching people's reaction towards listening forgiveness, how it brought up certain activity in their memory section where some started crying, some started putting their hands on their heart. I wasn't even leading them into meditation at that point. So it was just them relating their life story to my song versus me improvising. And I remember watching the brainwave activity and what was happening to the alpha and the theta and the beta and the delta, and how the activity wasn't as active like the alpha delta space where it's active and you are going into this meditative state. in improvisation, they were actually going into theta frequency. And based on that, I realized thinking, well, I am also a music producer, and I've went to College of the Canyons in California, Valencia, and studied composition and music production. And I remember it was just like a light bulb went off. I was just like, oh my God, the power of the word, the intention behind the word, the stories we tell, the music, the sound, the resonance. Wow. And so I really went into further studies on music frequencies, the healing of the sound aspect as a modality, as an alternative holistic tool. And it was just such an eye-opener for me, because at the time, and this is 2011, and at the time, I didn't know much about chakra system. When I was younger, I remember going through dynamic meditation from Osho, and then I did Narbeckov, Strelnikova, and that's kind of was introduced to me by my mom, my dad, my grandmother, my uncle. My uncle is a hypnotherapist in Russia. He's a businessman, but he does it for, like a contribution to humanity. He helps people, and his work has cured people from cancer and things like that. And he bases it on holotropic breath work. And my mom is a graduate of Clarity Breathwork, and I know one of my teachers, Ashana Solaris, is part of the summit, and I'm so honored to be part of the teachers panel along with one of my beautiful, amazing teachers, my guides. And so my mom graduated from their program in 2007. And so for my own personal trauma release, I was doing conscious breath work from an early age. And yeah, it was just like a light bulb just went in, and it was just like, it was so apparent and so clear to me that I really had this calling to go towards conscious breath work and to really offer this beautiful modality to humanity. And especially at this time, I remember attending different workshops because, we're all living in such an incredible time right now. And I think we're super lucky to be in this time because the collective consciousness is rising. People are more aware, especially due to COVID, and it's global. It's really global. It's not just happening here. It's not just happening in Russia or Kazakhstan. It's happening all over the world. And at this point, and I don't know how to explain this in the right way. I believe that this time really made people go within and really go deep within and heal the wounds. I mean, I don't anymore people who are not conscious of the stress they're under, of the things that they need to heal through in their relationships, in the relationship to oneself, like really, is there a way? I mean, there's so much pressure outside, and how can I bring in and be authentic to myself, honor my feelings, honor my thoughts, and not allow my thoughts being bombarded, as we are kind of bombarded by social media. I mean, the politics, what's going on in the world, the wars and everything. And so I don't know if that really, that kind of went from one question that just kind of went into here and now. And that's what TransBreath is about, is here and now. And this is why I brought TransBreath out on the International Breathwork Foundation, because I thought it was the perfect time to bring in a breath work that allows one to connect to their divinity without having to hash up past traumas or work through the anxieties of the future, but really focus on here and now. Because here and now, people are going through so much. And TransBreath, if holotropic breath work and clarity breath work would have a baby, that's TransBreath. It's TransBreath. And so I implemented my education as an opera singer as well. And as an Usui Karuna Reiki master teacher, because there's a lot of things that talk about, conscious breath work and meditation. And I implemented all of these different modalities. And one of the things that bothered me a lot, and still kind of does, because I'm a musician, during breath works, it was always so intense for me to listen to songs. Because I'm aware of now what happens to the brain. And if I am, breathing through my trauma of abuse, of parental abuse or of sexual abuse, and I'm hearing, someone just really picking on my wound through a song, like it really activated me and triggered me and took me even deeper into the pain. And I mean, I believe that artists are very super creative and super, super sensitive. We're very intuitive people. And for me, it was just also always very tough. Like it was really, really tough. And understanding now based on my research, that it's not just me that goes through it. And I remember going from like holotropic breathwork and then clarity breathwork and some other breathworks where afterwards the integration took me to PTSD. There was a lot that was shredded, but there wasn't a beautiful comfort zone. Like I was in this beautiful container of love and I let go of all the stuff. And when I went back into the society, especially working in the entertainment world, I actually only retired from stage as a performer, entertainer last year in November, and fully dedicated and devoted myself to this work. It was hard for me. For me personally, it was hard for me to integrate into the world because at the time it was so, so much greed, just trying to impress everybody, so much fakeness. And for me, it's like, well, I just kind of, I feel like I was reborn through breath work. And I feel like I'm stepping right back into what I just released. And so TransBreath allows that integration very soft because you are dealing with here and now, whatever's happening here and now. And do you have any more questions?
So that's beautiful, beautiful, Julie. And the journey that you took from the outer world to this inner world and exploration. And I think towards the end, you brought the word rebirth, right? Being reborn. Yes. To finding your true identity, to heal people using your gifts that you have been given. Now, you had so much information there, and what caught my attention is the brainwaves.
Yes.
And we know that in the book Altered Traits, the authors talk about 4 different ways of altering our brainwaves. The breath work, meditation, neurotraining, and then another is plant medicine. And here is music, because what you said is your song, which is, by the way, beautiful.
Thank you.
Brought these inner changes in people. You saw people, putting their hand on their heart, or some even crying. Could you tell us? Could you take us, for people who are not aware of, changes in the brainwave conditions? Because you talked about, I think, delta, that's what you were saying, which is deep relaxation and repair
Mm-hmm.
frequency that your body
Mm-hmm.
actually begins to rebuild itself
Right.
when you
Mm-hmm.
take your brain waves from high beta to alpha, gamma, delta. So bring us through both now music, the power of music, as well as now the power of breathwork combined together to change the brain waves.
Sure. So I actually work with theta brainwave activity. You just mentioned about the plant medicine. So there's no need to actually take plant medicine to have that shift, that conscious shift, that transition. You are able to go into that state. I use binary beats, and I specifically use this from 7.8 to about 13, because after we go into alpha hertz. So through binary beats, I actually infuse that state of the theta wave frequency, the brain wave frequency activity. It's interesting if you go into, well, I guess Wikipedia is not like the best place to look at it, but it says that transcendental meditation states that it's the alpha brainwave activity that is true meditation, to follow the thoughts. I do not agree with that statement, because true meditation in this is a place of here and now, and here and now is the place of oneness. And when there's a place of oneness and true connection to the divinity, to the divine, the source, the universal being, there is no thoughts. There's no trail of thinking or following anything. You just receive. And once that, the reptilian voice, or whatever that blah, 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 that keeps chewing the same thing over and over, once that has settled in, and once you actually look at it in your mind's eye, once you look at it, it seldom disappears, and the information starts to come in. You begin channeling things because you are fully connected to the divine, and you're fully connected to the divinity. And I've had clients literally who, I had a one lady, she's a financial agent, and she has never painted in her entire life. After 4 sessions, she came in with this amazing, like this painting. It looked like she was from Renaissance, one of these Renaissance painters. And eventually I still follow her. She still follows me on Instagram. And eventually she started opening galleries, so it's an incredible thing. And then the creativity starts pouring down. People start writing books. At the same time, for some, it shifts their reality, and they begin to actually ground themselves more and realize, this relationship I've been in for so long is actually not healthy for neither of us. There's so much abuse going on that, like we already long time ago grew out of each other. And the brainwave activity is so unique, and it's so individual, because some people actually realize, oh my God, I've had this potential of being a healer. Like I've had this guy in Turkey come in, and he did breathwork in water. And after breathwork, he was just like, oh my God, like I feel so much love coming through me. I can heal people. I'm like, yes, you can heal yourself. And through healing yourself, you can heal 14 generations behind you, 14 generations ahead of you, as ancestral healing, as well as healing the collective consciousness. Because once we heal ourselves, we're able to contribute to the collective. So yeah, that's, and so, actually, and so right now I'm thinking of going to a PhD program at, actually, no, I'm not going to say which school, because I want it to happen. And once it happens, I will go public about it. But I'm just going to put it out there into the universe. My interest is going to be in the contemplative and transpersonal neuroscience, and they have a lab where they actually measure brainwave through consciousness and breath work. And Stanislav Grof is actually one of the people who created this program there. And I'm really, really super excited about it. I'm super excited. And again, you see, like, yes, I've implemented music and my art into TransBreath and conscious breath work, but my own work has just like opened up completely different something in me. And I have discovered that like I'm a researcher. I really want to go and research, and I really want to go and I mean, I love humans. I love the human experience. I love watching them they just transform like this. Some take some time. You know, if you go to, for example, my Facebook, or you can just go to breathworksmiracles.com. Breath works miracles. Truly does. This is why I even trademarked that phrase. But because it really does. I mean, I love breath work. I actually recommend everybody to try every breath work out there and find whatever works for you. I always tell my clients to do the same, because some may not work for some may work, and some may already kind of graduate from that level, and they would need to go somewhere else to go further in their consciousness and their deeper understanding of self and self-love. For me, it was actually Soma breath work. Because, you know, after doing holotropic breath work, after doing all these different breath work modalities, Tower breath, Alexander technique, I mean, so many. And then, you know, getting certified to Clarity breath work, I thought, oh, that's it. There's nowhere else to go. I mean, where else do I go? I mean, my Kundalini opened. I didn't even know that Kundalini could open through just breath work. I was never done even Kundalini yoga. I mean, I've had some incredible, amazing moments through breath work. And when I finished Clarity breath work, I was just like, okay. And I started teaching, and I've also started teaching assistants. And I mean, I have over 5,000 clients. And I thought that, you know, I mean, I love breath work. I breathe. I still go to Dana Drachmadevi. She's a co-creator, co-founder of Clarity Breathwork with Ashana Salaris. And, you know, on a regular basis, at least once a month, I go in and do breathwork with her. And when I was presenting Clarity Breathwork at the Cabo Breath Festival this winter, right before COVID hit in February, I was introduced to Soma breathwork, and I was just like, whoa, this is amazing. So yeah, and when going back to TransBreath and the technique, interesting enough, we're going to try it later on in the interview, and the music you will hear is a compilation of different sounds that I have created, and then I added in some other people's work in there. So if you think about it, it's kind of like a meditative breath DJ remix sort of a thing, specifically for this today. And the breath is actually will take you where your intention is. And I think that applies to all the breath works, but really in TransBreath, make sure that you set an intention, like what is it right now that you wish to experience? And for some, it's, you know, I want to release. For some, it's I want to actually feel more love. I want to turn up my love. I want to be more, gentle to myself. And it really depends on the intention of the person. and just allow yourself to receive. Many of us feel like they're unworthy of receiving love, or nobody loves them, but the universe is all love. It's all made of love, and it's beautiful and it's divine, and it's okay to receive. And it's, of course, good to release. And if I may, I kind of want to read something here. So this is, I really like this scientist. It's Rupert Sheldrake, and it's called The Greening of the Rebirth of Nature, Science and God. And it's just one phrase. Mother Earth was seen to be very active. She was thought to exhale the breath of life, which nourished living organisms on her surface. And the reason why I chose this quote, I have many, and I love reading things about nature. Is, as human beings, we are nature. And many philosophers, including Plato said, the universe, the spheres of sounds and music is the breath of God. And all kinds of different philosophers and healers and spiritual guides talk about the breath and how the breath is life, breath is the force. And specifically this two sentences resonated with me, and I wanted to share it with you today, was because of Mother Nature. And because during this period of time, during COVID, Earth has started to breathe again, because everybody shut down their factories. There was less pollution, and literally Mother Earth just started to exhale and inhale life again. And there were so many different birds and different insects. And I mean, there was like 100 dolphins in San Diego Channel. Just a couple of months ago, over 100, like that's huge. And except of course for the fires in California these past several months, which has been very tough on everybody, especially those with respiratory issues. And again, about COVID, interesting enough, I just recently had a person who came in and asked me, what would you do? I have a friend who just recovered from COVID, thank God. How can you help? Because she's having a hard time breathing, shortage of breath and things like that. So breath work is essential for anybody who has respiratory system problems. It trains you, and at the same time, breath itself has that healing modality. And kind of going back to your question about delta, and that state where the brain wave is in that state, that the human body and the cells is the time when they actually rejuvenate. It's like a restart button, right? Right, because you did just mention that, right?
That's right, yes.
Right, so which brings me to the fact that yes, you as an instrument, the human being, has the power to heal themselves. And through breathwork, people have healed themselves from cancer, not just traumas, and all kinds of sicknesses. And also women who were told that they will never have children have given birth. I have clients who have little babies already. Well, some already running around. It's just magic. The life of force. It is the pranayama is it's the natural medicine, and I love it, and I recommend it for everybody.
That's wonderful. You said something about TransBreath that caught my attention. You said if holotropic breathwork and clarity breathwork had a baby, that would be TransBreath.
Yes.
So why don't we go into a little bit more detail of what TransBreath is? Maybe you can introduce that to the world, and then we would love for you to lead us into a practice.
Fantastic. So in the sense of the holotropic breathing is a diaphragmatical breath work. So you use your active diaphragm breath work, and it is a masculine breath work. At least it's considered to be masculine breath work. Clarity breath work is a feminine breath work, and it is clavicle breath work. So it's upper chest, more movement. All of them say, use your full breath, and, there's different rhythms. So, and clarity breath work is a feminine breath work. Now, what I did, based on my knowledge as an opera singer, is I combined both in costal breath work. So you're actually activating your diaphragm and your chest if you think of your entire thorax cage. So it's not just we're breathing into the heart, or we're not just breathing into the Manipura because that's the power center. It's kind of like a cradle of the most nurturing masculine and feminine divine, if you can think of it. And the answers are always in front of us, and it's within us. As you know, everyone, male or female, both have like the yin and yang, the feminine and the masculine energies. And it may be because I'm a Gemini. I think it is, because I'm always like, well, I need some balance. I need some balance. And as I said, I love both of these breath works. So when I combined these both in costal breath work, it was just like, wow. It was like my whole universe exploded in me. And it's basically combining both, and you're activating in your organs the power center and the heart center. And interesting enough, it's the willpower and the heart. And if you think of the note scale, there's no half step in between. 7 notes, 7 chakras. And between the third and the fourth chakra, there is no space in the music. So frequency. And for me, that was just like, oh my God, I can also connect this to my music. Yeah, it's very exciting. What else? What else did you ask me? I kind of got traded.
So you already given us the foundation of the breath. Is there any other ingredient in it? Is there any other modality that goes on top of it? You mentioned something about the healing frequencies and music.
Right. And then comes in the breath, and the breath itself is drawn through the mouth and the nose. So the air that we breathe in, the oxygen intake that we intake, and the toxins that come out balanced, because we're balancing it in between the nose and the mouth. So there's plenty of like moisture going through the lungs. And at the same time, the parasympathetic nervous system is not aggravated or activated. It's on the level where it's balanced enough for a person to go through whatever they need to go through right now without having over emotional, super like the feminine, super emotional, I guess, reaction, or for like the masculine breath works overactive, where you kind of lose control. So it's right. It's like a beautiful, like I mentioned earlier, it's like a beautiful combination, a cradle of both divine, the masculine and the feminine.
Oh, that sounds amazing. So the breathing, you've combined both diaphragmatic as well as upper body to get complete breath. And also the uniqueness is you breathe through both nose as well as the mouth. So
Right.
inhaling and exhaling. You do
Right.
that in a continuous fashion. So is it also
Yes.
the part of the circular breathing method?
Yes, yes, absolutely. It is a connected breath work, and it has like eventually, the individual will allow the breath to take them where it takes. But from the beginning, just to get the rhythm going and to get settled into, the breath, it is on a controlling side. This is why I said it's kind of um, between the masculine and the feminine. And the feminine, you just kind of let go and you breathe very, I guess, passionately and very fully with your entire body, breathing into the heart space. And then the masculine, very active, holotropic breath work where it's, and it's always to the rhythm. So basically, I even cut down the rhythm. I made it longer, but not as long as it would be in, for example, clarity breath work. And at the same time, there's also no tension in the mouth, in the sense of you're not using your larynx. So you're not going to be making any sound. In the recording right now, you will hear sound, just because if you do try it for yourself right now, what you can do, people do have some hard time figuring out how to breathe through the nose and the mouth. And this is basically opera singer type of thing, because once and then Usui Karuna Reiki, because there's breath work, kind of connects where the tongue is at the top of the palate, connects the material world to the spiritual realm. So the way you find this breath basically is you put your hand right here, right in between your nose and your upper lip, and you begin breathing through the nose and the mouth simultaneously. Now, in order to do that, you cannot actually make the sound, which means that your larynx are completely relaxed. If you're having difficulty finding that space, what you can do is close your mouth, breathe freely through your nose, and then put your tongue on the soft palate. And once you do that, relax the back of your tongue and open your mouth and start breathing. And so, like on your hand, you will feel and you will find the balance between the mouth and, do you see it?
Yeah, there's warmness both on top and then
Yes.
on the palm as well, because I can feel that as I'm exhaling, the air is coming out. I'm not sure whether it's equal, but I can feel that it's coming out.
Right. But you just tried it for the first time, and the fact that you did it because you are a breath worker yourself. So it's fantastic. I'm really glad that you were able to find that space. And so, yeah, usually it's about 45 minutes to 50 minutes, but right now we're just going to try to do it for about 10 minutes or so. And everyone who's watching right now, go ahead and just continue practicing that until you find that space. And usually that space is right here. It connects like in the second vertebra in the back. And just think of it like here into this big space, like there's like a whole universe, and you're breathing in both through the nose and the mouth there. So we're gonna go into the actual breath work, but right now just go ahead and take all of your attention here, as I'm going to be explaining to you what is going to be happening to your body at the moment. So if you're sitting down or you'd like to lay down, you can go ahead. It is going to be about 10 minutes. So, but just think of your thoracic cage. So it's not just your chest and it's not your belly breathe, it's both. So you're combining your belly and your chest at the same time. And it's going to rise and spread. And when you think of circular connected breath work, usually we think vertically. In TransBreath, think of it horizontally. When you think about it horizontally, your rib cage begins to move and spread. So we have these beautiful muscles between our rib cage, the intercostals and outercostals. And what they do, they function as these beautiful fibers that allow the elasticity between each rib. And most of us really don't breathe. I mean, we don't fully breathe. It's the truth. We don't use our entire thoracic cage. And one of the things that I learned as an opera singer is like these babies right here, they're like the wings and they really spread. And don't be afraid to spread them. It's absolutely okay. And you're going to be taking actual full breaths. You're not going to be just using your upper chest, and you're not just going to be using your belly. You're going to be using both, this entire range. And so go ahead and take one of your hands, put it over your head. And as you breathe, and you can breathe through your nose or your mouth, it's up to you. It's just for you to understand what's happening here in the rib cage. So go ahead and take a breath. But as you breathe, breathe into your hand. So do that on one side. And you can tell, like, okay, they're moving because you're breathing horizontally, not vertically. Now take a breath without doing the other side yet. Do you feel the difference between this rib cage and this rib cage? Do you feel how this one is a little bit spread? Okay, now go ahead and try this one, the other side. And breathe into your hand. And as you can see, like my chest is not high rising. And you can feel, because your hand is right now on your belly, that your belly is moving too. And if you can try that by using the breath through nose and the mouth next. But basically, just like to get a visual, I have like, if you think of these to be your ribs, they're going to be spreading up and down. And when you breathe in, your ribs are going to go out and up, and on the exhale, down and in. Okay, so let's try that. And right now we're going to go into about a 10-minute breath work. So go ahead and close your eyes and bring all of your attention here and now. And begin breathing through your nose and your mouth simultaneously with an intention of breathing in more love to here and now. And breathe with your entire rib cage. So go ahead and focus on the space in between your solar plexus and your heart. Bring in more willpower and more love into here and now. And if there's any tension, go ahead and scan your body and just breathe into that space with an exhale, allowing that tension to release from your body. Surrendering yourself to the miracles of your breath, to its potent medicine. Good. Continue breathing with each breath, really filling every cell of your body with love. allowing yourself to receive the gift of life that is your breath. Good, stay with it. And as you begin sinking to your own rhythm, allow that focus to be on your breath. Letting go of the mechanics of your body and thoughts of, oh, is my ribcage moving or not? It's moving. You're breathing. You're alive. And finding that balance between the breath coming in, drawing it in through the mouth and the nose, and exhaling it through the mouth and your nose in a circular motion, so there's no breaks in between. Good. And as you continue breathing, go ahead and let go of whatever is coming up. Staying here and now. Surrendering yourself into the miracles of your breath. It's safe for you to be here now. You are greatly loved and you are appreciated. There is no one like you in this world. And with the next few breaths, really breathing in love and turning up your love even higher. Allowing your own vibration, your own frequency to elevate. Beginning sending energy into every cell of your body through your breath. Good. And if you're ready, go ahead and put your both hands on your heart space. And you can use either right one or the left hand, which one feels more comfortable for you. And put it just below on your solar plexus. Allowing yourself to take fuller breaths. And if you're ready, go ahead and ask yourself if there is a message out there for you. Maybe your heart wants to speak to you, and be open to listen. Go ahead and take a few more energizing breaths. Expanding your rib cage. Good. And when you're ready, go ahead and relax your hands at your sides and open your eyes. And just notice if there have been any shifts within you here and now. And how is that for you, Devendra?
I should have done it on my back because I realized why you said go on your back. I almost started drooling because breathing through the mouth, but it was a very pleasant sensation. I never tried breathing both through the nose and through the mouth. It was very powerful.
Good. Great. Thank you so much. And so I do want to say, just take care of your body, drink lots of liquids, ground yourself, and make sure to contact me. You can go ahead and contact me, and for the sake of the summit and the collective of the program, I would love to offer a free 1 hour live coaching and see how if we can work together. And you can go ahead and go on to breathworksmiracles.com and set up your time with me. And you can also go on to Healing TransBreath on Facebook page. You can contact me through that as well. And I wish everybody love, and I'm very grateful for having this opportunity to share my TransBreath work with everybody here on this panel, and very honored to be part of these wonderful teachers as well. And thank you so much, Devendra, for this
Thank you, Julie King, for sharing this gift of TransBreath with us. We appreciate your time. Tell us one more time. So you said 2 websites. You said, or one was Facebook page, one was a website. Please say that again one more time.
Breathworksmiracles.com. And my Facebook page is TransBreath.
Thank you so much, Julie King. It was wonderful speaking to you today. Thank you for the gift of TransBreath. We appreciate it.
Namaste. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you for joining the Rebirthing Breathwork Summit, brought to you by Cultivate Prana. To learn more, visit cultivateprana.com or rebirthingbreathworksummit.com.